Easy a little bit, babe. Just a little bit.
Babe, who are you talking to?
Huh? What? I'm just.
Oh,
Just
your baby. Hey everyone, it's me, Dayla, aka Day the Fae, and I am here back again with you guys to check in post labor and post baby. So baby is about 2 months old. Like this, I don't know. But I took a little break from making videos and making content for a bit just to be kind of checking in with myself and make sure that I have the time to acclimate to being a new mom to a baby. So we took the time to kind of get everything together. And so I didn't get as much video as I would have wanted to get, but mainly I got, the beginning parts, and then Jason helped me out with the active labor parts. And so, but still we didn't end up catching the baby catching moment on camera, and I'll explain why. But honestly, the free birth, the wild birth that I had, I would not change for the world. I'm so grateful. I feel so blessed to have done a successful hypnobirth home birth. And I really want to share with you guys because honestly, I feel like every single woman on the planet should go into birthing and labor with the confidence and the sureness that a hypnobirth provides. Even I've had a couple of clients already graduate from my program that I run to help women learn how to hypnobirth, and some of them haven't had a home birth. Some of them had to get transferred at the last minute, and it still helped because it helped their mentality. It helped them prepare with the shock and the emotions and everything else that goes along with a birth process. So without further ado, let's get into it. So literally 2 months ago today, October 15th, we wake up really early, and Jason goes to school super early. So that night, in the middle of the night, I had some light cramping, but nothing that would have signified to me that this could be labor. I was just kind of my tum hurts. And so, I went back to sleep a couple of times. Then when he went and got up for school, this was at about 6 a.m., I was kind of oof, my stomach hurts. I don't know if I ate something bad or whatever, because I was only at 39 weeks exactly. And so we were, anticipating and ready, but I wasn't really sure what to expect. And so that morning I was I don't really feel like going back to sleep. And he left to go to school because he had a test that day. And so I just kind of stayed awake, and I was well, let's just see how this progresses if it's just a stomach ache. But I downloaded the contraction timer app because I was well, if these are actually contractions, let's just go if there's pauses in between the kind of pain moments. So I got up and I did my makeup just in case, because I was I do want to look alive for this. And so I did my makeup, and then I made this first video that I will show you guys right now. Good morning. It's about 7:35 in the morning, and I was having some contractions last night, but I thought that they were just stomach upset. So probably had some contractions through the night and woke up at 6:40 because laying down was really, really uncomfortable. So I figure, let me just start timing these. So maybe today's the day. I don't know. About 2 centimeters dilated, and we'll see how it progresses. It's really funny that the contractions are really short and they don't last very long, and they come in rapid progression. They're like not that far apart, so the little app is like, you need to go to the hospital. I'm like, I don't think so. But I'll check back in a little bit, and we'll see. Then I was like, let's go ahead and prepare the space because during that video, the contraction timer app had actually went off and was like, hey, you need to go to the hospital. Because I had only had like 3 contractions, I think, and it was already telling me, oh my gosh, like you need to go to the hospital. But I was like, I haven't even timed the contractions for like an hour, so I don't think we're there yet. Plus, you know, as you all know, I wasn't intending to have a hospital birth. So I prepared the space and I shot another little video, which I will show you guys right now. It's about 8:30 and I got all my snacks and got everything, I guess, kind of ready so I don't have to climb up and down the stairs. About 20 contractions an hour. They're really short and not too unbearable, kind of like gas a little bit. And yeah, so we're just gonna chill and relax now that I have everything a little bit more ready. Got all my snacks, my water, and I'm on the ball, just bouncing. So yeah, I'll check back in probably another hour. And so from there, I had been notified by the contraction app probably 3 times at least, like, hey, your contractions are close enough where you need to be headed to the hospital. And so it was only about 9 o'clock at this point, but I was like, you know what, let's go ahead and text Jason and let him know that like today's the day, now is the time. And so he got out of his test about 10 to 15 minutes later, and he checks his phone and he sees my message and he's like, oh my gosh. And his messages were so excited but like freaking out a little bit. On, oh my gosh, today's the day and I need to come home right now. Okay, I'm coming home right now. And at this point, I was already listening to my hypnotherapies, I was already listening to my meditations, and I was pretty much laboring lying down at this point because I had walked up and down the stairs in our house to get the snacks and to get my birth ball and just prep the room. And so I kind of did my little walking. I claim that is my walk, because a lot of other people when they're laboring they do a walk around the block or something. Up and down and up and down and up and down the stairs was plenty for me. So at that point when he came home, I was laboring laying down, but he got home, checked in with me, went and woke up our daughter so that, you know, let her know that today is the day and that, you know, mom's in labor. And so she got dressed and we all kind of communed in our bedroom the master bedroom so that everybody could be together. And probably by the time everybody got dressed and everyone was together, it was about 11 a.m. And so, I'm eating light snacks. Most of the day I ate like applesauce, fluids. I don't think I even ate breakfast, so it was mostly applesauce the whole day of different flavors, and juice and water. And from there, I did catch a short video of me going through an entire contraction, just kind of doing my meditating and doing my deep breathing. And so I'll go ahead and show that video. And so from that video, maybe you can tell, maybe you can't, but I would only describe the feeling of a contraction as distracting. I wouldn't even go so far as to describe them as intense. Now, what was going on internally for me was that I actually had a placental abruption at some point. Which probably was the reason why, through the description, you'll find out that I had a really fast active labor. So from the morning of till about 3 p.m., every single one of my contractions was less than 3 minutes apart. From the time that I started contracting to the time that the baby came out, every single one of my contractions was less than 3 minutes apart. All of my contractions were about 45 to 90 seconds. And so for me, that was about 10 to 12 breaths. So that was what I was doing internally, was I was counting my breath, because I was focused on, you can handle 12 breaths in and out. And that was literally my only thought the whole day, pretty much. And then the two things that we used, of the things that I bought to be prepared for the birth, for me anyways, was a TENS unit, which I bought the specific one that's called the OB TENS. And if you're looking for that, you can find it on the Amazon for the United Kingdom. Like, you have to go in and change your country, search on the United Kingdom one, and you'll find it. It's called OB TENS unit. And so I was using that. That was really great for the first 4 hours, I would say, of contractions, because it has a setting on there that if you push a button, then it's called like the surge button or boost, I think. It like puts it on max power, and it's just like zapping your back. And I had it on my low back. There's 4 electrodes. I had it on my low back. So for the first 4 hours, that was what I was using. And then for the last 2 hours before my water broke and after my water broke, the only thing that we used was counter pressure. So Jason was helping me with counter pressure, and if he was getting me something and a contraction started or something, then our daughter would come and also rub my back. So that was really nice to have that. Then at about, I'll just skip ahead, because at about, I would say 3 o'clock, that was when my mucus plug came out. So it came out in about 2 contractions, and then mucus plug came out. I went to the bathroom, and the first time I was like, oh, maybe that's my mucus plug, and then the second time, like, it like popped out, and so then I was like, okay, that's my mucus plug is out. So that was at about 3 p.m. My water started trickling at about 3:45, I want to say. And at that point, my man caught a video, and it was in between contractions. He did not have a lot of time, I'll admit that, and so he started videotaping us all three together, and so I'll show you guys that little piece.
There's Mama with some contractions. He's trying to get ready for this guy to come out. Contractions been since maybe last night. There's Nanita back there. She's with us, of course. She's gonna be with us the whole time. And if you can see, there's Leo and Zoe. They're never gonna leave our side. But we're starting to get ready. And this guy's gonna come out very, very soon. Alright. Oh shit.
And so after that, my water was like trickling, and then about 5 or 10 contractions later, I don't remember the count, believe me, my water actually like broke. But at that point, before my water actually broke, I had to go to the bathroom, and so I went to pee, and it like gushed out and then kept trickling from there. And so after that point, it's about 4 o'clock, about 4 p.m., and we transitioned to our bathroom, so that at that point it was just me and my man. And I was laboring on the toilet. I was laboring seated because I didn't want to get any more of the trickling waters anywhere else. I figured, let's keep the mess in the bathroom. My man had run a bath, but I did not want to get in. I did not want to get wet. I don't know what it was during labor. So many moms are so eager to get into the water, but I don't know. I just did not want to be wet and then have to dry off and have to focus on something like that during labor. And so it just sat there, and I was just laboring on the toilet, just sitting. I wasn't like facing the back of the toilet. I was just sitting normally on the toilet, and contractions were happening. I wouldn't say any quicker. I feel like the contractions never really got quicker or closer together. They just stayed the same the whole day. But from the time that my water broke to the time that I started to, what most people call, transitioning, was maybe 20 minutes. So at that point, I'm definitely fully dilated. I could definitely feel like there was no way that I could put my knees together at that point. So I was just kind of in a squat position, basically on the toilet. And my man happened to think that we needed to start going to the hospital. He started to freak out. He knew that things were, close. And he was like, I don't know, I think that we need to go to the hospital right now. And so he started getting himself dressed. He started getting our daughter dressed and get your shoes, we're going to the hospital. And he kept peeking into the bathroom and being like, are you ready to go? Can we go to the hospital now? And one, there's no way that I would ever labor in a car if that was a choice, because that's just gross. Thinking about it now, I would hate to have any of the goop from labor in my car. Secondly, like I said, the feeling in your pelvic region when you're that close to giving birth, you don't feel like you can just walk around. I definitely didn't feel like I could walk around. I definitely didn't feel like I could go back down these stairs. And I definitely didn't feel like I could get in a car and make it to a hospital and go through check-in before this baby was out. And so I was just like, there's no way that I'm going anywhere. I can get down on the floor, sure, I'll try that, but there's no way that I'm going anywhere. And so he kind of started to realize that okay, she's not gonna go anywhere, so I need to be ready to call 911. And so I did give him that, kind of the go ahead, the permission, if you feel like you need to call 911, call 911, it's cool, but this baby is coming out right now. So at about 5 o'clock, I would guess about 5 o'clock, it did not go slow. It happened very quickly. At about 5 o'clock, I felt I didn't feel the need to do anything. My body really just did it. And when I say that, it was almost like it was almost like the feeling you get when you're gonna throw up. Like, you can't control it. You can only like kind of swallow the spit for so long before your body just ejects what's happening, right? And so that's kind of the feeling that I would say happened, because it was about 5 contractions before the baby was completely out. And so the first contraction of those, it was like I started to feel this like eject button happen in my body, and like all my muscles would tense, and the breath that I was doing was pushing breaths. Like I was definitely like pushing out on the exhale, and so that was really cool. But then, like I said, like within 5 contractions of that, the baby was out. And so about 3 contractions to go, my man was on the phone with 911, and he was like, okay, yeah, this is our address, this is the gate code, my daughter will meet you at the door, you know, but like she's having the baby like right now. So he had the phone like this, and he was like, okay, you gotta like stand up now, like I understand you're on the toilet, but you have to like stand up now so that I can see what's happening in your lower region, so that I can catch the baby. And I was like, okay. So I kind of like cocked myself to the side and stood up halfway so that he could catch the baby. And with a huge whoosh and a huge whoosh of fluids, the baby came out. And he had pieces of the placenta over his face, but he was crying instantly. So, you know, he caught him, handed him to me because he's on the phone. The baby is already crying. I'm like taking the placenta off his face. And you know, he was just born into this world ready to sing, and he was crying, and everything was good. And the EMS person was like, oh, I hear the baby crying, thank gosh, good job, you know, you can relax now, you know, because at that point they know that, you know, the baby has been birthed alive and is breathing and everything like that. And within about 2 minutes to the EMS people got there, my daughter led him up to where I was. You know, she can see on my face, and I looked at her and I was like holding the baby, and I was like, I did it. And I'll remember that forever, because she was crying and she was like so proud of me. And you know, it was like a moment between us that like, hey, like as a woman, you can do this. When you're ready to do this, like it doesn't have to be in a hospital, it doesn't have to be full of pain and screaming. You can do this. And so I'll remember that moment forever, because it was just an unforgettable moment. And you know, my man, you know, him having caught the baby, it was an unforgettable moment. And the EMS people, you know, they basically just instructed me to, you know, pull the cord out enough that I could walk with the baby. They had me put on my panties, and you know, we were escorted down the stairs very slowly to the ambulance. And then Jason cut the cord in the ambulance, and he stayed to drive in the car with our daughter to the hospital, and then I rode in the ambulance with the baby to the hospital, because basically what happened, because I had a placental abruption, in the cavity between your uterus and the placenta, it had separated, and so it was already bleeding into my uterus while I was laboring, and so I was losing blood internally. However, that blood was there long enough to have clotted, and so it was like I was losing blood, but I wasn't hemorrhaging. Okay. And so when we got to the hospital, obviously there were some interventions that took place. They made sure that I didn't need any blood infusions or, you know, anything like that. They rehydrated the heck out of me. Everyone was just stunning in the hospital. But they were all just in awe, because I had this beautiful 8-pound baby boy with no intervention. And that's always just surprising, I think, to hospital staff, because their expectation is that birth is traumatizing and birth is loud and birth is messy and birth is this thing that needs medical attention, right? But really, for most women, birth is the most natural experience you could ever go through. And so to show them that, I think it's always surprising, and it's always like a testament to how strong and independent women can be. And so to share that with you guys, and to share that there's another successful happy hypnobirth on YouTube, is one of the things that I wanted to come and share today, because since the birth I've been quiet. I'm a very personal person, and so I'm not just gonna blast my story and pictures of my baby the second that it happens. That's just not the way that I am. I like to take time for myself and my family. And so now that the baby is 2 months old and he's already a big chunker, he's so tall already, but he's beautiful, and it's really exciting to kind of retell that story to all the clinicians and all of the nurses and all of the people that I have seen after the birth, because every single time I tell the story, they're just like, wow, like you had them out of the hospital, like nobody was your OB, like they're always really surprised. And so I like to kind of be that person that can put that idea in your head that this is possible. And I know that looking at me, like, you would see like all my tattoos, and you would see that I have my tongue cut in half, and you would see that I have like my ears pointed and all this painful stuff. You wouldn't look at me and you wouldn't think, oh my gosh, like she has a really low pain tolerance. But even a lot of these smaller tattoos have taken me multiple sessions, and I'm a very sensitive person. And so I have an extremely low pain tolerance. And so I wasn't sure how I was going to do. And I was pleasantly surprised that even at the most intense part, I wouldn't describe the contractions as intense or painful. I would describe them as distracting. Like if I had to do my makeup all day, I would not have been able to focus on the task at hand. Like there's something that pulls your focus, but they don't have to be painful. They don't have to be something that has you screaming, that has you, crying, that has you in so much pain. And I think that that's a really powerful place to put women, is in their confidence, in that even if you don't have that high of a pain tolerance, even if you are a titty baby for pain, that's what I say that I am. I'm a titty baby for pain. And I cry at things that normal people don't cry at. I was able to go through birth, and literally within hours of that experience, I was saying in my head, like, I could do this again. I could do this over and over again. I wouldn't mind it. Nope, that's fine. And I think that is the difference between having a positive birth experience and putting that in your mind from the get-go. Like, I put that in my mind from the get-go. I was like, I am not gonna let this birth be traumatic, to be another experience where I have a bad time with a doctor, or I have a person that I don't trust, or I have someone who didn't follow the instructions that I gave them to be there for me. I literally put it in my head, I can do this. I can train my family how to do this and how to support me, and we can do this together. And that's how it happened. So I'll end it there, because I don't want this to be a huge video, an hour and a half long or whatever. But I do want to share with you, some end photos of me during the experience, me and the baby, my family and the baby, and just put it in your mind that if you are a mom and you're watching this video because you want to put it into your perspective and into your experience of, I can do this, I can have a hypnotic birth, I can have a happy, calm, peaceful birth, even with medical intervention, because the thing is that I had something that could have been dangerous, but because my mind was calm and because I wasn't filled with adrenaline and filled with cortisol, my body wasn't under additional stress that would have or could have led to potential hemorrhage issues. You know, my blood pressure wasn't super high in that moment. I wasn't super anxious. And things like that helped me. I know for a fact they helped me not have as bad of an experience as I could have had having had a placental abruption. One of my clients who went through the program, she had a premature birth and a premature labor. So she wasn't even to 32 weeks yet, I believe. And her baby was stillborn, happy and healthy. And the fact that she knew hypnobirthing helped her in the after to be more confident in the fact that, hey, even though this didn't go to my plan, I've got this. And so that's what hypnobirthing can do for you. And if you have any questions about hypnobirthing, if you have any curiosity about what hypnobirthing can do for you, I'm going to leave it in the description box below where you can reach me, where you can contact me to get signed up for a hypnobirthing class so that you can put on your road ahead, that you can have a calm, peaceful, nearly pain-free birth experience. Everyone's different, but everyone can benefit from hypnotherapy, I believe, in my heart. And so thank you so much for coming to share with me in my birth story and share with me in the birth experience. And thank you all for your support during this time. And I hope that you catch my next video and you explore with me different aspects of preparing for birth and preparing for the postpartum and life with baby in the process of being a happy, healthy mom. So I will see you next time on my channel, and if you haven't yet, like and subscribe and do all those awesome YouTubey things, and I'll see you next time. Bye.